Okay, checking mic. Let's see. Let's set this up so that there we go. We'll use the big list. JP says he'll be joining late. Just shift over uh yeah, later on once he gets here. But yeah. So we are I guess in the pre-stream I don't really use the counter anymore because uh well, I don't set that up for my streams, but so we start with this right away, and then we just jump into the intro. Um, but yeah, so um, the notifications should be going up on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. I don't know about Mixer. I th- it says on the Restream dashboard. I don't think it's up on the Restream dashboard, so we might not be uh, broadcasting there if ever you are watching us on Mixer. So yeah, if you see that alert on Facebook, if you see our post on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, feel free to share it. Sharing is caring. And we will start in a couple of minutes. So, yeah, hopefully, I see you guys in chat. Or, if you prefer, if you prefer to lurk, that is fine too. Earlier today, JP streamed, yeah, fixing the Dicecast streaming PC. You guys got a good look at one of our main tools that what we used to use for like live play, live D&D play, and streaming at events. Hopefully, with some events coming up that we are looking forward to streaming from. Yeah, hopefully JP resurrects it soon. I don't know if you guys, if you guys got to watch the stream earlier around lunchtime today. Um, Anyone watching, I think, like has an idea of how unique, really, how one of a kind that streaming PC is. Like, really, it's one of JP's like passion projects, I guess, or generally tinkering and specifically building PCs in this case is one of JP's passions. So yeah, that is a very special, very very special computer, and it's I hope that it's he's able to fix it soon. He's mentioned on our chats that yeah, he's pretty close to fixing it. It's just a little issue with the video card and the capture card rather. So I think he's pretty close to getting it back up and running. So yeah, some not all bad. um, I am trying a couple of things with the overlay today. So uh, the chat is slightly wider. It does overlap a bit with our web browser window over here. So just let me know if that's a bit too distracting or if it pays off having a slightly wider chat window on the left. So yeah, it's 7:30. We're just about ready to start. Let me just check a couple of things. Did our notifications go out yet? I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all. Let me double check on Facebook and YouTube. Mm, let's see. Let's see. Let's go to the Dicecast Facebook. Let's see if our stream is up and running. I do believe it is. Awesome. All right. And there, the notification just arrived on Discord, on Facebook, hopefully on Twitch too. And Let's see. Twitch. Did I get a notification that Dicecast is streaming? I hope so. No notification of a stream, but yeah, I guess it is visible that we are streaming right now on Dicecast. Um, cool. All right, let me share this link and check audio. No notification on Facebook. Of a stream. There we go. It audio seems to be good. Let's share this. Share this. Okay, right, shared, and on my page too, on my feed. Eh, oops. Nope, we don't want to do that. Hang on. I meant to share it on my wall, not on Dicecast's page. Nope, we don't want to do that. There we go, on my timeline. Hey, Sin, thank you for joining us on Facebook. I see you. I meant to share it on my wall, not on Dicecast's. All right, let's cut out the audio because we're all done there. Okay, so let's get on with it, shall we? And let's play that intro. See you guys in a minute. Okay, so welcome to our PM stream for Table Talk today. Like I mentioned earlier, this morning we had JP trying to resurrect the Dicecast the main Dicecast streaming PC, the portable one that we bring to, you know, the stream live tabletop game. Well, we used to bring to stream live tabletop games, and what we've used to stream events live from the venues. Hopefully, it gets fixed tonight. We have our usual weekly roundup of news from around the tabletop gaming world. In case you've been too busy over the past week to yeah to find it yourselves, we're trying to just extend a helping hand. Um, the discussion here like is better with you in it. Really, I browse and I have a more or less like shallow knowledge of card games, board games, and tabletop RPGs. So really, the discussion is pushed forward by you, our audience. If you have something to share about the topics on the docket, please go ahead and do so. And it really like it'll be nice to personally like I learn a lot from the people in our audience, and yeah, I mean let's have a awesome discussion if we can. Let's aim for that. First of all, a bit of housekeeping. So, yeah, it looks like we are doing this schedule at least um, for until next week or until for the next 3 weeks. We will be streaming um, the usual streams on Monday and Wednesday at 12 noon with JP, or at least maybe not because the streaming PC is still down. So maybe you'll be catching our streams uh, more during the evenings at 7:30 to 9:30, which is when I stream after I get back from work. But yeah, really, we will update you guys if JP is fixes the PC and is ready to go. We'll let you know. Usually on Discord, so join our You can join our Discord channel. Let me send you guys a link. Here you go. Putting that in all the chats. Um, Join our Discord server here. So yeah, you can join us on Discord. You can get more like up to date information from us there, because JP and I usually hang out on Discord. That sounds a bit sad, but it's not really that sad. So yeah, you know, chat with us there, ask us questions, ask the our other dice friends questions. It's a nice place. Hopefully, we're trying to make it a nice place. Um, hey, Artificity, thank you for tuning in. Hola, mi amigo. Um, yeah. So, what else for housekeeping? We are preparing for for our own contributions for the road to session zero. More on that later. But in case you haven't heard of it yet, session zero is an event being organized by local outfit gamers and GMs. They are trying to shine a spotlight on local tabletop game creators. I think mostly RPGs, if not all RPGs. All of them, all of the creators are making RPGs rather. It'll be on August. Great. I am blanking out. August 25th, right? Wait, what is that? I think it is a yeah, August 25th or 24th. Let me double check. Hmm. There we go. August 25th. There it is. So it'll be on August 25th in Green Sun along Chino Rosas Avenue Extension in Makati. So, yeah. They are. Oh, thank you, Sin. Sin is actually one of the exhibitors. So watch out for her work. It's all tabletop RPGs as confirmed by Sin. So yeah, no board games, no card games. These are all role playing games. Um, it's a great place to check out local creators. It's coming up next month, almost exactly a month from now, and everyone I know who's involved in it couldn't be more excited. We are underway with our own preparations um, for our roundtable discussions involving a bunch of these creators on the 2 weekends leading up to session zero. So those will be on August 17 and August 10. So watch out, for Dicecast to make further announcements on who will be joining and what you can expect from those live streams. Um, so yeah, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and yeah, we'll have more news coming up for you guys about that soon. We will, you know what? Sure, I'll post the link here. It is toward the end of the docket, but why not? So check out session zero here. GNG session zero. So there you go, Artificity. We're excited to see you too, Sin. Like everybody, because hopefully we'll be able, like, if the PC gets fixed by then, we'll be able to stream um with with higher quality, with our usual event, our usual quality for live events. But if not, well, we can always try to stream from our phone for the people, you know, at home and not able to attend. Or even overseas, actually, because we do have some viewers from um, across the Pacific in colder climes. So maybe they'll want to check out what you guys are making. So yeah, it's a global community, this thing. So I think that's about it for housekeeping. Uh, Artificity did request over on our Discord to share something nostalgic, since we've been waxing nostalgic a bit about the death of the Dicecast streaming PC. Um, Yeah, you know what the coincidence? It's actually my oldest brother's birthday. So if you're watching, Kutch, happy birthday. He is 12 years older than me, and really, I mean, both him and my other brother, uh, the middle one, Carlo, are responsible for introducing me to, you know, everything, everything nerdy, and specifically tabletop RPGs. So when we were really young, um, Kutch and Carlo would run, yeah, would help introduce me to the tabletop role playing, mostly through game. I think specifically through three games. That was AD&D Second Edition, um, uh, Marvel Superheroes. You know, the old face rip system with the universal table, and Robotech. Robotech Palladium. But we don't talk about Palladium. No, I'm kidding. I know some of you out there must love Palladium in some way or form, but yeah. The Kutch, my eldest brother, is yeah. I have him to thank for introducing me to this wonderful hobby. That's been such a source of joy in my life. The first, really the first campaign I ever played was when he was in college. So with his college gaming group, they would come over. Like it would always be at our house, and sometimes in UP, but most of the time in our house. And they would like for some reason my parents were okay with me staying up late, and I was probably around like 8 or 7, 8 or 9 at the time. Um, yeah, they let me stay up late and game with my oldest brother's gaming group, like until what, until dawn, sometimes that late, like after dinner until the break of dawn. And it was like the most awesome thing ever for a young kid like me, like playing alongside this older crowd, um them just like kind of taking me under their wing, learning how to learning how to have fun, with dice and imaginary characters and imaginary settings. And it was the best thing ever. So yeah, happy birthday, Coach. Thank you so much for everything. I yeah, I hope I hope you see this somehow. That'd be cool. All right, why don't we launch into our topics? Let's do that, shall we? Let us go into the first one. The very first one is a about the Warhammer 40K live action TV series. Apparently, it's in the works. So, a show based on the novels about Inquisitor Gregor Eisenhorn um, is it's being made. Apparently, this character also starred in a very very bad video game. Not sure what that is. I'm not too well versed on the Warhammer 40K line of RPGs, war games. Yeah, RPGs and war games. Um, so yeah, let's go through this. This is from PC Gamer by Andy Chalk, from 5 days ago. So The Witcher isn't the only grim fantasy melodrama that's making the move from video games to television. Games Workshop announced today that it's teaming up with Franz Spotnitz's Big Light Productions to make a live-action series based on the Warhammer 40K universe called Eisenhorn. Now, you might not know Spotnitz by name, but he created Amazon TV's adaptation of The Man in the High Castle, which has gotten um, a lot of positive reviews, if I recall correctly. So that can be only good news for fans of Warhammer. The show promises a blend of fantasy, sci-fi, and crime drama as it follows Inquisitor Gregor Eisenhorn and his team of investigators who work to uncover the schemes of aliens, heretics, and daemons who seek to destroy the teetering imperium of mankind. So The article goes on to share that Gregor Eisenhorn is a relentless force in the dark future of the Warhammer universe, a destroyer of demons, and a purger of heretics, implacable, powerful, and dedicated. Dan Abnett, author of the novels on which the series will be based, has said, but the appeal for me from the moment I started writing him was his complexity. So he is not the simple, ruthless hero he appears to be. His battle with the warp leads him to dark places and forces him to question his duty, his understanding of the Imperium, and his own identity. With Eisenhorn, it's not just the adventures, and they are certainly vivid. It is the journey he takes to to the very limits of what he is and what it means to be loyal. So, like Gerald, Eisenhorn debuted in novels but also appeared in a video game, although somewhat less successfully than the famed Witcher. Um, PC Gamer included Eisenhorn Xenos in their 2017 list of the most hated Warhammer games on Steam, describing it as like playing a migraine. Ouch. But Spotnits and Big Light bring credibility to the project, with recent TV production credits including the critically acclaimed ah, The Man in the Castle, Medici, and Ransom. So there you have it. I know a few friends who might be excited about this. I don't know if they're tuned in, but yeah, what do you guys think? Let us know in chat. Hopefully, this is as exciting for you as, say, for me, The Expanse getting saved by Amazon is. I can't wait for it. Though I am sad to see that The Expanse is no longer on Netflix, so I can't even watch reruns of the first couple of seasons. Boo hoo. Um, yeah. So, let us know let us know in chat like what you think if you are excited for this. Personally, I've only touched Warhammer very slightly. I played a bit of the what was it? Like the spin-off on like the Company of Heroes type Warhammer game. I forget the exact title. JP also has roped me into playing a bit of Warhammer Vermintide. Was it 2? Probably 2. A bit of Warhammer Vermintide. So, um, yeah, I know a bit of it. I've also read a couple of the rule books, but not really played any of it. It's pretty. It's pretty grim stuff. Um, Not really my cup of tea when it comes to RPGs. But yeah, I can understand why I like I said, I have friends who really enjoy the IP. So yeah, check it out. Um, let's go on to um, this is not grimdark at all. In fact, our next topic is quite the breath of fresh air. So if you're a fan of DuckTales, yeah, you can become a gazillionaire and relive your fondest childhood memories in Munchkin Disney DuckTales. So there we go. Hopefully that is more legible for our viewers out there. Um, let's see. Okay, so the OP Games is releasing Munchkin Disney DuckTales. So it's a licensed version of the role-playing, game night favorite Munchkin. So yeah, very popular, very popular RPG. I've only, I haven't actually played Munchkin. I've only really sat down and browsed through the cards because it usually gets passed up for stuff like well in my home Catan is king. So I've never really, yeah. That's about all you guys need to know about my board gaming preferences. Um, but yeah, so fans will have the opportunity to dive into the roles of their favorite feathered heroes from one of the 80s most popular cartoons. So the heartwarming nostalgia, and this is essentially, yeah, a nostalgia grab. But yeah, if you've ever wanted to roleplay as the your favorite ducks from DuckTales. There you have it. In Munchkin DuckTales, players will get to choose from Scrooge McDuck, Huey, Dewey, Louie, and other DuckTales icons to battle it. Thank you. Please don't say there. Okay. Um, where was I? So yeah, they get to battle it out against monsters and each other while uncovering treasure that will have you swimming in gold, just like Uncle Scrooge. True to the original Munchkin game, your goal is to collect as much treasure as possible while enlisting the help of interesting items and allies you'll come across during adventures. If you're the first to reach level 10, you win. But watch out for conniving villains such as Big Time Beagle or curses that could distract you from becoming filthy rich. Artificity. I've always wanted to be an avian shaped gold elemental. That sounds like a high CR. Yeah, would nope out of that treasure room. Or I don't know, maybe capture it and pawn it off as a, truly priceless oddity. Sin would totally play as Scrooge. Let's check it out. Let's see what. Can we zoom in on this? Nope, we can't zoom in on that image. Maybe by doing this. There's a limit. Okay. Ooh, okay. So yeah, classic Munchkin looks pretty much. Oops. Okay. Looks pretty. The awesome thing about these things is that they have a lot of um awesome art to draw from because the IP is a cartoon, and so it's not that difficult to make great looking cards. Really. Um yeah, the treasure hunt begins as soon as the first player kicks open a door to reveal what's hidden on the other side. So I guess this is more of a an overview of how Munchkin plays. So for those of you who've never tried it, well, here you go. If a villain is nowhere to be found, you'll be free to use your class skills to loot the room for hidden items and treasures. Will you uncover the crown of Genghis Khan or Magica's magic mirror to aid you on your quest? If you're not so lucky, you'll be greeted by a villain like the stingy Flintheart Glomgold, the wicked Magica the Spell, and other bad guys that must be defeated using card bonuses, powerful treasure items, ally cards such as Bubba the Cave Duck and even Donald Duck, or teaming up with other players. So choose your friends wisely because remember, the objective is to have, to reach level 10 by collecting the most gold, essentially, the most treasure. So yeah, I like what's always like intrigued me about Munchkin is that balance between, you know, um, being a classic RPG gamer, which is playing cooperatively, and being the that guy rogue in the D&D party who tends to stab their party mates in the back and steal from them from time to time. So it's always been interesting to me how they play on that trope. So, yeah, when you're feeling as mischievous as Huey, Dewey, and Louie, you may also decide to look for trouble and fight a monster already in your hand. Use your best judgment to decide if combat will increase your chances of winning or send you into a tailspin. So, there you go. You can check it out. Um, where can you guys get it? Okay, so it's not quite out yet. So if if you can stay tuned to you can sign up to receive news from the OP on their website, the OP Games, or follow them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So you get those announcements as soon as they drop. I've been forgetting to link you guys to the news. So here you go. So both for Warhammer, here is the link, and for Munchkin for Ducktales, here is that link. So yeah, sorry. It tends to flood the chat, but yeah, it's we can always have a fresh start after every at the start of every article in the docket. So um, I don't really, yeah, I don't have many memories watching Ducktales, but I do recall that The theme is quite catchy. It's just I'm thankful that I can't quite remember it right now because it is LSS inducing. But yeah, thankfully JP isn't here either to sing it into my to sing it over the mic because that dude's got some good musical memory. He plays piano by ear. If you guys didn't know that yet, he has perfect pitch, which I am eternally jealous of. So yes. Um, let's see. Oh, I see my brother has joined us on Facebook. Thank you for tuning in and happy birthday to you. um, let's see. Up next. So if grim dark sci-fi what horror isn't up your taste, and nor is wholesome Disney feathered friends, well, there is another brand of there is another brand of card gaming coming up next. This is Three Kingdoms, the card game, and it is coming out sometime in I think 2019, if I'm not mistaken, sometime this year, or is it 2020? Let's find out, shall we? So this is from S7 Games, um, based on the widely popular Japanese game Sengoku Taisen by Sega. This is the War of Three Kingdoms, the card game. Oh, dude. Okay, welcome to the chat, JP. And I'm so sorry to hear. How do you know that the PCIe slot is dead? Like, did you try plugging something else into it and it still wouldn't detect? That sucks. That sucks. I am so sorry to hear that about the streaming PC. But even without a riser cable, it won't detect either the graphics or capture card. Oh crap. Okay. Okay. So what's the plan? I hope that what is it replacing the motherboard? Is that the most cost-effective plan? But yeah, back to the news. So, the game takes place during a legendary period in history where the kingdoms of Wei, Shu, and Wu openly warred for control of China. Now you have a chance to build your chosen kingdom by strategically selecting the heroic generals and tactics that will lead you to victory over your rivals. So, using your army, lay siege to your opponent's castle and bring it crashing down to establish your rule over the land. So you can see some of the sweet character art here, card art rather here. Some of the generals that you can pick and their minions. So you have like a spearman trainer, and so on. Really cool. So this is a two-player game with 100 Wei cards, 100 Shu cards, and 40 Wu cards. Hmm. Anyone care to enlighten me why one of those nations has much fewer cards? Are they OP or something? So okay, green cards depict warriors and tacticians from all three kingdoms. Sorry, general cards depict warriors and tacticians from all three kingdoms, and they come in the three colors. So red for the Wei, green for the Shu, and blue for the Wu. So they have four army types: archer, army, cavalry, or spearmen. And general cards may be played by paying the card cost and or having enough battle strength to go to battle. So you have some examples here. For example, Queen Bian. I that is a good point. Why is a Three Kingdoms game not equipped to play with three players? That's so weird. What is up with that? It's a missed opportunity. That's what it is. So you have some things here, like some traits like alluring beauty, main, exhaust, and the like some kind of resource type. Search your deck for and reveal an army card of 2 cost and put it in your hand. Then shuffle your deck. Okay, so card search. Interesting. So tactics are played for instant effects and then discarded. Can be in either of main or battle phase. You have army cards that can be equipped or reinforced with warriors and technicians, or played alone as generals. They have such abilities that add effects during a turn. Okay, so like when you play a Shu general to your battle area, you may reinforce that general with this card for free. Oh, cool. Okay. Or let's see, this archer. All special damage dealt by this reinforced general is increased by 500. Okay. Um, yeah, that seems to be that. Um, let's see, when does it hit? Oh, you won't have to wait too long to get your hands on it. So apparently, this War of Three Kingdoms card game has a release date of October 18 this year. So just a couple of more months if this tickles your fancy. You could get it in as soon as 3 months, just under 3 months. So there you go. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. This so some news about this. This particular tabletop game is based on a hybrid digital and tabletop card game that was first released in 2005. Okay. Since then, the game has made its way to arcades, the Nintendo DS, and PC. So players would put physical cards onto a playing area on the arcade cabinet. Okay, sort of like that Pokemon game or Yu-Gi-Oh. So yeah, Sengoku Taisen was most recently launched for arcades in 2016 with Sengoku Taisen 4. Okay, so Artificity uh, additionally shares that it's irritating that the colors for each kingdom don't match the Koei colors that he's already associated them with. What? So it's essentially it's a poor port. It's a bad port of the card game. Is that it? So what should the colors be for the Wei, Shu, and Wu? These aren't even the original colors apparently. Why go in this direction? That's a bit that's kind of mind-boggling to be honest. That's so weird. Oh, okay, not really. Sega and Koei did two different games with the same time frame, but the Koei game is a more famous. Oh, okay. Yeah, so this did say that they are explicitly inspired by the Sega one. So this could just be, the unknown little brother of the bigger Koei game. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, so this could still be, I guess this could still be quite faithful, I guess, just not to the game that you are familiar with, or most people are familiar with, because yeah, Koei is the more, the bigger one of the two between it and Sega. All right, maybe the for the Sega fans out there of the Three Kingdoms, War of the Three Kingdoms, maybe this is good for you, and you're finally like getting something over your 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 brethren who are fans of the uh Koi half of the franchise. So yay for you Sega fans. All right. So yeah, I did link this in chat, right? Please remind me if I did not. But yeah. Um Speaking of other card games and things I am a fan of, this one I am a fan of definitely. We have Jurassic Park, which is making its way to its own. Well, not its own card game. It's an existing card game, but maybe, maybe it could still be good news. So before we get to that, Artificity shares that more power to Sega, but it's always going to get me confused if ever I get around to playing it. All right, yeah, I mean, fair enough, fair enough. If they have different color schemes, I did share the link. All right, thank you, Sin. Thank you. I'm glad I am not as forgetful today as I usually am. So let's get into our next topic. So this one, I have a bit more, feelings about. So let's see what we have for Jurassic Park and Mondo Games. So here we have. I'm not sure if we reported about this before, but a couple of years ago, Mondo um, was creating a board game for Jurassic Park. It was called Jurassic Park: The Chaos Gene, and unfortunately, it has been scrapped. So it's it might be good news because, well, according to slashfilm.com, they had some hesitation about what they'd seen of the game so far. Why don't we look at what that hesitation actually was? Um, so I think what they were skeptical about is okay. So the general lack of experience of the people behind the game, and I think they also found the figurines of the board game a bit underwhelming. But yeah, so without getting too much into that, um, they have pivoted, turning what was a board game, the Chaos Gene, into they're using the license to instead um, work Jurassic Park into their card game, their hero, uh, their like versus card game with an expansion for Unmatched. It's called Unmatched, and the expansion is called InGen versus Raptors. This is coming in late 2019, and Sattler versus T Rex in 2020. And you also have a solo expansion for Dr. Alan Grant in coming out in 2020 as well. So, in case you're not familiar, Unmatched is this game where it's a dueling game that features fighters of all kinds. So you have some stuff like King Arthur. Um, you have some or essentially universes settings like King Arthur, Alice in Wonderland, um, Greek mythology, and they pull heroes and monsters or villains out from those. So you have King Arthur himself, Merlin. You have Alice, Jabberwock. I think I saw the Mad Hatter somewhere in there. From Greek myth, you have the Medusa. You have harpies, yeah, and so on. Sinbad. But yeah, so it's a game. So it says here combat is resolved quickly by comparing attack and defense cards. Each card's unique effects and a simple but deep timing system, so leads to interesting decisions time after time. So it's a two to four player game, and 20 to 40 minutes for each session for ages 9 and up. You get a bit of a preview here of how it goes. So, simple, level or rather arenas. Each player with like a deck of cards for their hero or villain or theme. And there you go. So you see Mad Hatter. You see this looks like the Medusa card. Yes, it is. You see Lady of the Lake for Excalibur. Um, you see what is this? Cannibals with the Root of Madness. Oh, from is that Sinbad? Is that from Sinbad? There, yeah, it's from Sinbad. So yeah, some pretty sweet artwork, some pretty sweet miniatures for the for this board aspect of the game, and yeah. So they have another expansion called Robin Hood versus Bigfoot. This is it's pretty wacky, but it's and consider the fact that I think you can kind of put King Arthur up against Robin Hood or Bigfoot. You can mix and match the sets if you so choose to, I think. But yeah, Robin Hood versus Bigfoot features Robin Hood and his outlaws who excel at range attacks and robbing from their opponents against Bigfoot and his pal, the Jackalope, who crash through the forest for quick attacks before disappearing like a figment of the mind. So yeah, it makes for some pretty interesting matchups. And so with what they're doing with Jurassic Park is they're putting out Injun versus Raptors, Sattler versus T Rex, and then a solo expansion of Dr. Alan Grant. So as with all unmatched sets, the power to mix and match heroes and maps to create a customized play experience is not only possible but encouraged. Each character deck has been engineered to represent the personality and characteristics of its on-screen counterpart, and no two heroes, or in this case dinosaurs, battle the same way. Additionally, the unique maps featured on the game boards allow players to designate specific terrain to either replicate scenes from the film or direct their own. So we can I hesitate to really like play videos these days on the channel because we do get copyright strikes. Sections of our videos get muted, so you can instead let me just paste the link address here in case you want to watch the video on YouTube that shows that features like a quick explanation of the game from Mondo's very own Jay Shaw, who who will go through the mechanics, the backstory, and the artists and designers who worked on this this Jurassic Park expansion. So a few quotes from him are: "We teamed up with Mondo Games to bring." Oh, this is from someone else. Sorry, this is Restoration Games president Justin Jacobson. "We teamed up with Mondo Games to bring exciting characters and settings to the battlefield in Unmatched, and they came through in epic fashion with Jurassic Park. It's a thrill to get to work with one of the world's premier licenses, bringing these truly unique fighters into Unmatched, from massive dinosaurs to brilliant scientists, really shows the strength of the system, with each deck capturing their combat style. It only took 65 million years, but the Jurassic Park skirmish game you've been waiting for is finally here." Okay, sure. Um, but yeah, so this will first hit be on sale at Gen Con in Indianapolis, which is in a couple of weeks. So you'll probably see more news and even reviews about this game around then. And if we see that, and if it's we'll probably feature it on Table Talk. So yeah, be sure to stay tuned on for our weekly shows, and hopefully we can bring you some news about this in the near future. So let me just take a drink of water. That is so much better. Let's check for some messages. I think. Okay. Hang on. Okay. I think we're good to go. So up next is something I didn't quite expect to see. You can see it on the docket. There are a lot of question marks because I don't quite know what to make of this. So let's check it out. This is Funko entering strategy board gaming. Um, I'll level with you guys. I'm not a big fan, or not. It's not that I'm not a big fan. I've just never gotten the appeal of Funko Pops. I don't even know what you really call them, because they all kind of. It's um the design really just doesn't appeal to me. Well, here's the thing, um, Artificity, you won't get to use those actual your actual Funko collection because you'll see it in a bit. when we transition to the next article. They are making 3-inch figurines to be used with this. So it's a whole new purchase. That's the thing. It's a whole new purchase. So Funko is getting ready to shrink their figures down to board game size with the announcement of their upcoming Funkoverse. So yeah, not exactly your the Funkos you already have. You're gonna have to buy these new. Let's see. Are these full? Is this a full image preview? There you go. So yeah, this is obviously like CG concept art, not the actual um, photo of the product. But yep, not quite. Yeah, not quite what you're expecting, right? So it looks like Dead of is that the name of the game? Dead of Winter or something? That yeah, that survival game where you have character cards, corresponding figurines, resources, custom dice. So yeah, it's a whole different thing. Let's go through the news. Besides branching out into digital games, on mobile, the iconic toy and pop culture company will have Funkoverse as their own tabletop game. According to a press release, Funkoverse will start with strategy board games for for a diverse range of fandoms, from the Golden Girls to DC Comics to Harry Potter and Rick and Morty. So each set will feature 3-inch figures of the various characters from. Let's see if we can get some images of the others. So we have here that looks like Harry Potter. This looks like the DC Comics one, and this is the Rick and Morty one. Let's zoom in on those images for you guys to see. All right. That took its time loading. Let's refresh. Okay, since this is up first, might as well. So yeah, there you go. That is the DC one. This is the Rick and Morty one. So you can see the levels are different every time, different configurations, different. Yeah. So I think each one would be a unique play experience. Along with different characters, different, and since these are really based on collectibles, it's nice to have a whole set of new characters for each. I guess. This is the Golden Girls one, I guess. What didn't load? The Harry Potter one. Okay, there we go. It's partially loaded. Let's wait for that image to come up. So on the DC one, I guess you've got Batgirl, Harley, Batman, and the Joker. Rick and Morty, of course. Image, where are you? Come on, load, please. I'm not familiar enough with the Golden Girls to tell you who these are, but yeah. Let's see if I can open this image in a new tab. All right, Hermione, or no, Harry. I guess this is Hermione. I don't know who this is, but that's obviously Voldemort. They look like they're at an awkward size. If they were just a little smaller, you could even repurpose them as minis for other games. That's a good point. I wonder how large the bases are, right? Like if Bellatrix. Okay. Bellatrix Lestrange, I think is her full character name. I am not much of a Harry Potter fan either. Please do not crucify me for getting their names wrong. My wife is, not me. Um but oh, there, finally loaded. Um yeah, the article, it does mention that these are at 3 inches high. Too late, Mark. I'm so sorry. They're 3-inch figurines. So I don't know. Does that look like a 1 inch base? Maybe not. No, it does. It looks like it might be a bit more than 1 inch. So yeah, it's probably not. Yeah, 1 to 2 inch hexes could be. Yeah, Sin says if they're shrinking it, perhaps 1 to 2 inch hexes. Maybe it just would have been nice if if they were in, like, you could. It'd be pretty cool if you could use them for D&D and stuff, or at least for a D&D tactical grid. If you play D&D, if you're so inclined to do Harry Potter or whatever. Yeah, you could always print out custom hexes, I guess. It's not that difficult these days to just do that. That's a good point. Um but yeah, so let's see what else they have to announce about this actual game. So Funko adds that they'll start appearing in stores during October. Given the staggering amount of different fandoms and characters they'll have access to, it's likely that there will be more Funkoverse sets to come. So you can imagine them coming out with sets like from Marvel. Um, what other Funko, like the Beatles, I guess. um, what other Funko, like what other licenses does Funko Pops have? Um, that would make for good games, right? I guess they've got their fingers in pretty much everything, don't they? So they could just keep coming out with an endless chain of Funkoverse sets potentially, and it's a shame. Yeah, that's where it gets like it's really a shame that if their figures won't fit into the 1 by 1 D&D grids, that's really sayang. You could have gotten so much mileage out of those figurines, or you could get so much mileage out of these figurines if they could fit in those 1 by 1 squares. Oh, like you could have Star Wars and Star Trek Funkoverse games, right? Yeah, Avengers. That's true. They have license for everything. They're signing up with Twitch already. I'm sure they're signing up with Twitch already. That sold the rights to Dicecast for Funko Pop somewhere. Oh no, we would be the blandest Funko Pop figures ever. Honestly, like you know, two dad geeks, or maybe that'd be nice if we could get our D&D characters turned into Funko Pops. So like Yama and Zephyr, Jagrick, and the whole crew. That'd be pretty cool. Um, but yeah, more new. Speaking of the news about them, let's just get back to that. Um, yeah, Funkoverse features a lot of crossover potential. Um, what else? So yeah, there aren't many further details. They're keeping it pretty much under wraps. Uh, with no word on how it will approach actual strategy gameplay or even a price. So, but you will be able to check out. I think the initial offerings at San Diego Comic Con. So yeah, if you happen to be going there, that's I guess that's something to look forward to if you are also a fan of Funkos. So there you go. They also have Adventure Time. You can custom 3D print your own Funkos. Okay, that's I guess that's pretty cool. Like, is there like a design online web design interface? Designer interface like for Hero Forge for D&D figurines, or do you like literally have to send them sketches and stuff? Oh, people also custom 3D print their own Funko. Sorry, I misread that. You can 3D print your own Funkos. Is a schematic like up for grabs to the public? Oh, there are patterns. Cool. Wow. So yeah, bootleg Funkos for the win. If you have, if you have the 3D printer yourself, really, man. If I had a 3D printer, I'd probably spend all of it on making figurines for the games that I love running. That would be expensive but cool as fuck. Ah, got the dregs of the coffee. Sorry, excuse me. Artificy says, I'll be honest, if I had a 3D printer, I would be printing things other than Funkos. I mean, I guess. But, you could just really love Funkos. Personally, I would be making, little figurines for D&D and other games because then it just blows the doors wide open for having, you know, um, making like little furniture, uh, doors, walls, floor types. Yeah, I'd probably be spending my own little minis collection if I had a 3D printer and lots of money to burn on the what do you call it? Like the whatever you call the ammo used for a 3D printer. Um. Anyway, speaking of other figurines, our next topic is for fans of the X-wing games by Fantasy Flight. Let me close a bunch of tabs here just so it's a bit more manageable. There we go. So there are two uh, pretty big updates recently released for X-wing. So the first is bigger battles. So bigger ships are coming to X-wing. You have a bunch of examples here. You have the actual, the Tantive 4, which was the ship Leia used to escape along, with the Death Star plans. You have a bunch of new rules, a huge ship conversion kit, and what is this other figure? Sea Rock Cruiser expansion. Okay, there you go. So these are coming out when? I forget. Let's find out here. Oh, I think they're out already. Oh no, fourth quarter of 2019. So at some point later this year, I guess October to December, you can expect to see these at in your local gaming shops, or you can just order them through the through their through Fantasy Flight Games website today to get them, you know, delivered right to your doorstep. So we see here a couple of a huge ship conversion kit so that X-Wing players can find all the components to need to upgrade their Corellian Corvette, their Sea-Rock cruiser, Gozanti class cruiser, GR-75 medium transport, and Raider class Corvette ships to the second edition, including cards to field each huge ship in two of X-Wing's 7 factions. So, um, yeah. Um, In the latest Star Wars space battles, huge vessels launch volleys of devastating weaponry as starfighters nimbly avoid their point defenses, looking for any advantage they can find. With the huge ship conversion kit and copies of huge ship expansions from the game's first edition, you can enter these epic battles. Okay, so huge ships. This isn't the first time that large capital ships are making their appearance in the X-Wing game, apparently. Okay, cool. But this brings it up to date with the second edition of the game's rules. So this conversion kit contains everything you need to incorporate every ship released in the game's first edition into your squadrons, including ship cards, tokens, and maneuver dials. Many of these ships saw service in multiple conflicts, of course, and this kit also includes entirely new components that allow you to fly them in new factions, ensuring you can command a huge ship no matter what era of the Star Wars saga your squadron hails from. So, for example, um, now the CR-90 Corvette can be flown by the Rebel Alliance or the Galactic Republic. The GR-75 can be used by the Rebel Alliance or the Resistance. The Raider class Corvette and the Gozanti class cruiser can fight for the Galactic Empire or the First Order. And the Sea Rock cruiser can fly for either the Separatists or Scum and Villainy, or the smugglers and crime outfits. So I guess the Huts, or is it Black Sun? I'm not sure which one is represented in X-Wing, but there you go. But commanding huge ships goes far beyond the faction you play. They alter your entire strategy, and the selection of 82 upgrade cards invite you to customize the ships themselves, outfitting them with commands, teams, cargo, and hard points that grant additional attacks. Finally, each ship has its own unique capabilities and roles that are unique for your squadron, like small ships, and they use the same set of tools for basic functions such as movement. So it also contains a maneuver tool for huge ships, along with range rulers, resource trackers, and damage decks that can be used interchangeably. Um, let's zoom in a bit. There we go. So this is a preview of the Tantive 4 expansion. So there you see all the cards, you see the Tantive 4 itself, the rulers and stuff, along with unique tokens, dials, and all that. This is for the Sea Rock Cruiser expansion. So the one that can be used by either the Separatists or the Scum and Villainy factions. There it is. Ooh. Which one is this? Or that's just like the usual. Is that a Gazanti? Let's see what a Gazanti class cruiser is. Oh, it's this one. Okay. I think I first saw that in Rebels or something. What's the other one? The other one was called GR-75 medium transport. What does that look like? GR-75 medium transport looks okay, this one. All right. Yeah. The one um that got the rebels off of Hoth. All right. Another expansion is called A Larger World, and it introduces epic multiplayer battles for X-Wing. So, um, yeah. So this is Star Wars has always one of the highlights of Star Wars has always been epic space battles, whether like A New Hope and Return of the Jedi. I mean, Empire Strikes Back to a bit of a smaller scale. It's really more of a chase. Um, well, two chases, I guess. But yeah, so Star Wars Saga features heavily armed warships and dozens of smaller starfighters being on each side being pitted against one another. And you can enter these battles and test your mettle in some of the most intense and chaotic space battles in the Star Wars galaxy. So this expansion, the Epic Battles multiplayer expansion, gives you a totally new way to play X-Wing, inviting 2 to 8 players to engage in epic multiplayer and command massive fleets in large-scale games that evoke iconic Star Wars scenes. So you have 11 scenarios, from team games to chaotic 8-player free-for-all battles, and it just broadens the possibilities of X-Wing, creating an exciting new experience for players of all skill levels. Um, in addition to the scenarios and rules for playing with more than 2 players, Epic Battles also introduces Wings, an exciting new way for players to control multiple ships in formation using only a single maneuver dial. Ooh, that's nice. That sounds a lot more manageable. Wings work particularly well when flying in conjunction with huge ships, the largest class of ships available in X-Wing. Why didn't they just go with capital ships? Anyway, for more information on adding huge ships, you can check out the previous article. Let me link you to both right now. Let's do that. Here you go in chat. Check these out. Hopefully those links work. Let me know if you need any help with those. Um, yeah, no matter if you're going head to head with a single opponent or coordinating your attacks with a teammate, the new game mode, uh, the new game modes rather, you find in epic battles create an exciting new X-wing experience. So read on. You can read through the rest of the article if you want a more in-depth look. Just check out those links I sent you guys. Yeah, for a more in-depth look at this expansion. So let's just check out some of the stuff. So this full-sized wing tool makes it easy. Oh, so it's like a it's a thingy to hold the figures the stands together. Okay, so you can fly your ships in formation uh, using this. Interesting. When flying as a wing, the wing leader executes maneuvers normally, and their wingmates form around them. Okay. New battles. So in the Intel pickup scenario, 2 to 4 players deploy their ships to collect data from satellites. Man, this reminds me kind of reminds me of the mission briefing screens from those old like Tie Fighter, X-wing versus Tie Fighter games. That's pretty cool. Um, yeah. So here you have an example. I think of these droid fighters flying in a wing formation, probably. But yes, so this also ships in the fourth quarter of 2019, and if you're a fan of this expansion and like what not expansion, a fan of this game X-wing, and are interested in this expansion, you can uh, even order through the website, following the link on this page. So check out, X-wing. Again, this is for the huge ships uh, update, and largely conversion sets, I think, and the epic epic battles multiplayer expansion, both for Fantasy Flight Games as X-wing. So yes, let's head on over to. That's it for card games and board games, really, and I guess war games, strategy games. Next up, we have a couple of interesting RPGs. News about RPGs for you guys to check out. So we have. Let's see. Let me scroll down on the topics docket. We have from itch.io, Mothership, which is a sci-fi horror RPG. Uh, Something from the awesome animated spellbook creator Z Bashu, um, which is for how he likes to run the Kuotoa, and how they make those proto gods that I guess they are kind of empowered to do. And an article on professional DMing. So yeah, it's an interesting topic. Well, personally, because you see that around, in our local circles a bit too. Like some people have been doing it for as long as I think a couple of years or a handful of years. So yeah, we can check. We'll check those out when we return shortly. I'm gonna take a quick break to refill my drinks, make some more coffee, and I will be right back with you guys. Okay? So I will, yeah, put you on the counter screen because that's the one with music. I'll be right back. realized I shouldn't have played the intro because for regular viewers that might have been mistaken for ending the show prematurely. But yeah, sorry about that. Um, yeah. Um, so I'm back. I've got a new uh, hot mug of coffee, refill here too, and let's get on with it. So for this next segment of the show, we have a couple of RPG topics and updates on a few exciting, gaming local gaming events coming up. So let's check those out, and let's start with the first one. So this is Mothership, which is a sci-fi horror RPG, much in the same same brand of futuristic horror as, say, the Alien games or John Carpenter's. Yeah, I know the thing isn't futuristic exactly, but yeah, it's that kind of uh, that kind. I think they're trying to go for that kind of body horror, uh, with scientists and stuff involving scientists. um, yeah, so let's check it out. So this is on itch.io by Tuesday Night Games, and they have it at name your own price. And I can kind of understand why it's still at name your own price. We'll get into that more later. But the basic overview is that so this sci-fi horror playing game called Mothership is a game where you and your crew try to survive in the most inhospitable environment in the universe, outer space, in the vacuum of outer space. Hey Eric, welcome to the stream. Thank you for, if it's okay if you're late, I appreciate you catching up and tuning into the stream. Thank you so much. Welcome to the stream. You've just reached us in time for this is the first RPG we're talking about. If you look at the docket, we've covered a bunch of stuff, but mostly, card games and board games. A couple of weird ones that you can check out on the replay. Um, I don't know what might interest you. Probably Ducktales for Munchkin. Also, I'm not sure, but maybe Funko entering the strategy board gaming sphere. So, yeah. You're playing. Oh, okay, no problem. Eating dinner, playing and some family gaming time. Those are important too. And thank you for taking time out to tune in and chat with me on this very recent update to our table talk, you know program weekly program. So for those of you who have only tuned in recently, we used to do table talk, me and JP, always at Monday noon time. Um, yeah, but recent changes in my professional life. I have started a new job, have kind of necessitated us splitting up into a retaining the noontime show, but also me doing the evening stream for both table talk and actually Vidge Events days. So hey Rachel, hello. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys had a good dinner. And I hope you don't spill it because nah, I don't think this is gonna go heavily into the gore actually, so your dinner's safe. Um but yeah, so this game Mothership, uh from what I've read, tends it's trying to evoke the tension and paranoia and panic of things like Alien, things like The Thing, where you mix, military and scientific personnel in a crew that is trying to survive the horrors of space and alien life. So you can choose from one of four classes: um, Teamsters, who are the rough and tumble workers. Your deckhands, your pilots, engineers, asteroid miners. If Ripley from Aliens is your hero, then you'll want to play a Teamster. Scientists are the doctors and researchers who want to slice open aliens, for better or for worse, or infected crew members with a scalpel. So you can be an expert in genetics or xenobiology. One thing I do like about this game, they have an interesting take on skills and skill tiers. We'll get to that in a bit. Um, or as a scientist, you can also protect your crew from deadly viruses. You also have androids, which are uh, powerful due to their supreme intellect, speed, and near immunity to fear. They tend to unnerve other but they tend to unnerve other crew members with their cold inhumanity. And finally, if you want to shoot bugs and chew bubblegum, you have the Marines, who are handy in a fight, better when grouped together, but have to be wary of when a Marine panics because it will affect the rest of your crew even more than another crew member type panicking. So let's get into it. Let's look at the it's pay what you want. So you can get it off the itch.io right now if you wanted to and read along. So I'm linking. I'm sending the link in chat. So yeah, check it out there. So mothership, here we go. Oops, already skipped ahead a bit. So yeah, you have the chest bursted, space worker over here. Classic. Um, you've got a handy table of weapons to start out with, and let's get to the table of contents. So I have kind of browsed through the rules a bit already, and this is a percentile uh, percentile system. So you have a stat. You have four stats, if I recall correctly: strength, speed, combat, and something else. I forget exactly what. But yeah, you have four stats, and you have to roll. When you make checks to see if you succeed, you roll under that stat. You have to roll under that stat. So higher is better for the stat, and lower is better for the roll. Um, if The way skills work, as an overview, they will let you apply a bonus to your stat if the field of the skill applies to that check. So, for example, if your skill applies to a strength check, depending on the tier of that skill, it can add a 10, 20, or wait, is it 10, 20, or 30, or 10, 15, 20? But BC, yeah, starts at 10, I think, and goes higher in increments from there to your chance to the number you have to roll under on percentile dice. So yeah, we'll get to those. Let's get to what it is like to create a character. So when you create a character, you roll 60-10 for each of your stats. So that's there you go: strength, speed, intellect, and combat. So 30 is the average, but it can go as low as you can go as low as 6 or as high as 60. But yeah. And then you pick a class from Teamsters, Scientists, Androids, or Marines. Um, each class has its own starting save values. So saves are when you want to avoid negative effects, just like in D&D. That's when you roll these. Um, there are things like armor saves, sanity saves, fear saves, and body saves. So yeah, each class gives you a bit of variation when it comes to your starting saves. For example, listed here, the Teamster class provides a +5 to both strength and speed. I guess to reflect their peak physique when you're one of the ship engineers or workers. Um, okay, so here are the tiers of skills. So you have trained skills, expert skills, and master skills. And what those do is, there you go, trained gives you a +10% to succeed. Expert is a +15, and master is a +20. So again, that applies to when you're making your ability checks. It adds to, if the skill applies, then you add that percent to your rating that you have to roll under. So each class also deals with stress and panic differently. Ooh. Oh, you saw the portrait here? Yeah, on the sample sheet. Very White Wolf. I agree. Pretty, yeah, like old school White Wolf. Um, so yeah, each class deals with stress and panic differently, which comes into play later in the game when the shit hitteth the faneth. And you always when you start out, you have a starting loadout, and you roll for a random trinket and a random patch on your space, on your jumpsuit, which I think is the coolest thing ever. Because that just I don't think, if I recall, it doesn't have to be uh true. It could be an insight into what your character's like, or it could be something. It could be the opposite, like something your character hates, and it's just there for irony. How do I think this measures against Year Zero's Alien? I think Alien is recreates something very specific to Alien. This one will let you do something, um, maybe a bit. It will have a bit more versatility to it. Then again, it's not exactly that hard to hack the Year Zero engine. But yeah, I think you just gotta compare. Like, do you prefer the year? I think Year Zero's Alien is a pretty straightforward interpretation of the Year Zero engine, right? So it's a D6 dice pool, sixes are successes. They'll probably have specific mechanics for stress and panic or something similar, um, like a sanity resource, right? To up the tension. This one, I think there are things that I like in this that I could probably use in other games. And we'll get to it in a bit. Like, a couple of my favorites that are the skill system, because I like how they have implemented skill tiers. And yeah, let's get to that. So you can see here. I wish I could rotate this. Can I rotate this? Yes, we can. There we go. Okay, so you can see here the skill system. Let's look at the rest of the character sheet. So you can see, right, base stats, right? 39 for strength, 31 for speed, 26 for intellect, and 30 for combat. Pretty much, um, you know, middle, more or less average for her stats. This is Lilith, a navigator, so that's a teamster, because ship's crew. Um, they One of the abilities of the teamster, or rather the ability of a teamster, is that once per session they may re-roll on the panic effect table. So they're I guess, more cool-headed than most. Um, yeah, that's how they deal with stress and panic. So one of the things here is a loadout. So you have a set inventory, set, like, package for the gear. And where is the patch? There you go. You have the random patch she rolled is allergic to bullshit. Love it. Um so yeah, as a teamster, they get uh hey Dawn, welcome to the stream. Thank you for tuning in. Good evening to you too. So okay. Um yeah, let's get to what I like about the skills. So you have any untrained skill, um just basically, I think, won't let you perform that skill. We'll check on that again in a bit. But if you have a skill that's trained, it gets you a plus 10% to to performing a check in that field, right? So if you have 0G, when you are doing tasks in 0G, you get to roll under. You have to roll under the target number with a bit more leeway. You have plus 10 on that percentile target. So when you go up to expert, it's at plus 15. But also, expert skills have a prerequisite. You can't get to, for example, vehicle specialization without having gone through either mechanical repair or driving or piloting first, right? So, and then do they have a master skill? Not yet. But yeah, you would not be able to go to, say, command without having gone through vehicle specialization first or tactics. So I really like how and it makes sense, right? You're either commanding a crew of a ship, which is why it makes sense to have these trained and expert skills as prerequisites, or um, you're either that or a commander of men, of marines. So someone who is well versed in tactics, which stems from military training. Military training also leads to gunnery and firearms and explosives. So I like the skill tree system of this game. It's I think, in my opinion, it's very elegantly implemented. And like, it's basically untrained, you just roll your stat against your stat, under your stat rather. Trained, you get a plus 10. Uh you get a plus 10 to that stat for a specific situation. Expert, for an even narrower situation, you get a plus 15. And on master, you get a plus 20 in an even narrower situation. And there are prerequisites for expert and master, master levels, master tier skills. So, for example, for, let's see, other examples are hyperspace. So, hyperspace being the master skill, you can get there from either astrogation or physics. The prereq for physics being mathematics. The prereq for astrogation being piloting. So there are some skills that are pretty straightforward, but I don't I don't know. Like, is that unbalanced? Maybe, but it just makes sense. I just like how it is presented and how it potentially works. All right, so let's get this back to its normal orientation, and let's check out the other pages here. So rolling dice, it's either you roll d10, um, a number of d10s. I think this is mostly for damage. Oh yeah, and this game only uses d10s, all d10s. So it rolls them in three different ways. So it's xd10, meaning you roll it that number of d10s. Um, An underlined xd10 means that you roll a certain number of d10s and then multiply the result by 10. So 2d10 in this case would give you a number between 20 and 200. And of course, there's the percentile roll. So you get the tens digit and the ones digit. So stats and stat checks. You want to roll under your stat. If you roll if you roll doubles, um, if you roll doubles on a roll, we call that a critical. And if you succeed, then it's a critical success. If you failed, it's a critical failure. So critical success means, usually, what it usually means, you succeed admirably at the task at hand. But a critical failure is catastrophic, and you could take on penalties, complications, or even damage as a result. So, okay. Um, it has advantage and disadvantage, which is works the same as in D&D. You roll twice and get a better result. Um, and yeah. So there you go. Skill trees. You have or rather, not skill trees. The skill tree. You have saves, and saves are rolled when you their reactions. You don't really take them willingly. You make saves when something bad might happen, and you need to find out whether you resist it. So that's sanity, fear, body, and armor. So if you critically fail a save, meaning if you roll doubles above the stat, your target number on a percentile check, you have to make a panic check. So that is where panic and stuff come in. To make a save, yeah, so you need to roll under the save value, just like with a stat check. And if you fail your save, you gain one or more stress. So when you, if you look at the character sheet at the start, you can see here a. Let's rotate again. Oops, oopsie, oopsie. Okay, are we oriented right? Okay, you see here, yeah, two stress, and yeah, what that means is that yeah, so it's your threshold for failed saves. Additionally, to gaining stress, you can suffer some other consequence like taking damage or contracting like some kind of deadly extraterrestrial virus. Um, let's read more about stress and panic on page 25 and 26. Let's skip ahead. That was not page 25. All right, here we go. So you gain stress by failing saves. Um, panic. A panic check determines whether you are able to keep your cool under extreme pressure. So there are two steps. You make a stress check, which is 2d10. If you roll over your current stress, you don't panic and you relieve one stress. If you roll equal to or lower than your current stress, you panic and move on to step two, where you roll for panic effects. So yeah, it's pretty robust for a pay what you want. I'll tell you where it isn't robust though. So on the player side, it's pretty darn full. But let's look at the table of contents, shall we? What is missing from this table of contents? So you have, right? You have character creation, you have um, survival mechanics, you have combat. Another thing I like about this combat is how initiative works. You roll under. Basically, you make a roll for your speed. If you roll higher than your speed, you go before the bad guys. If you roll lower than your speed, you go after the bad guys. Nice, elegant, and simple. I love it. I like how you're always rolling against your stat because it's always it just I don't know it just feels fitting to be you know against you're rolling against your own abilities, your own capacity and capabilities. I like it. Weapons will essentially alter, either give you a bonus like skills do to your roll, and also have additional effects for when you succeed on your rolls. Depends. We'll preview that later. But yeah, like what are you seeing that is missing? Because that is it for the table of contents, my dice friends. It doesn't guide the GM. So yeah, that's the only thing. There is no. I I I I tried looking for it right away, but yeah, I quickly realized that um there are no instructions yet in this game for for how the GM structures the adventure or the campaign. It does have a nice other nifty stuff like traveling hyperspace, designing ships like anywhere from shuttles to the huge to Nostromo in Alien, and ship to ship combat. I don't think I would make this a feature in most of my games though. That's a bit doesn't seem really part of the genre. But yeah, and advancement, but nothing to help out with the GMs. I assume it's not yet finished. They're still working on this, or yeah, the person behind Tuesday Night Games is still working on this, and I hope that's the case because I really want to see. Like I like a lot of parts, a lot of the little parts of this game already, just at a glance. It's yeah, it's pretty hefty for a pay. It's a pretty robust, package for a pay what you want. But yeah, that's the glaring missing component. It doesn't guide the GM. That's the thing. Um, yeah, so you have for survival, crisis checks, food and water, oxygen, and so on. Like how you earn money on the job. Um, yeah. So here is the thing on initiative. Uh, you make a speed check. Those who pass can act before the bad guys. Those who fail act. Nice and simple. Right. So I don't know. I recognize that. I do acknowledge that there is a fine line to walk for letting people do what they want with your game and also like instructing people with how the game should be played. But like I always feel like and I think this is just based um on partly on Tales from the Loop. I really like how Tales from the Loop gives you explicit instructions on how to run the game based on the genre it's trying to emulate. And in the case of something like this, where you're kind of trying to do survival horror in space, I think it would pay off here because there are very specific ways to do that genre. Um, D&D, I think, is a bit more generic. It's really like there's so many kinds of um, fantasy fiction, like high adventure out there. Lots of ways to do it, and it also tends to um, kind of slip into different genres from time to time. So yeah, there's no one way to do D&D, but like for kids on bikes, there's Tales from the Loop, like really telling you how to do it. I assume like Year Zero Alien is gonna be a bit like that, since they are both Year Zero games. They'll probably also specifically tell you like how to run an alien game. And yeah, like this one too, I think could have benefited from a really like specific GMing chapter. But yeah, your mileage might vary, like yeah, definitely like for more open-ended ones, like even for like Tales from the Loop, like you don't want it to be you want to be careful to not make it about personal habits, but more of about the genre, I guess, that you're trying to emulate. So yeah, my 2 cents. Yeah. So really a promising game. Let's have a quick look at the what the weapons do. So you have the damage in XD10 format. You have some uh, some cool little little bonuses too, like a smart link system for the smart rifle. So if you're wearing a HUD, you get a +10 to your combat checks with this rifle. You have night and thermal vision thanks to the spectroscope, and armor piercing rounds, which give you uh, which gives targets a -10 on their armor save, and yeah, 12 shots per magazine. Oh, okay. So it's more like how do you write down what you do automatically without realizing you're doing it? That's the complaint I get from designers trying to write the GM sections. Oh, you mean for session zero? Yeah, like how do you transmit? Yeah, okay. How to GM your game? Don says, I need to play Tales from the Loop as a player. You and me both. You and me both, man. Okay, yeah, and now I get your comment a bit more, Eric. I think I didn't read it right the first time. Sorry about that. But yeah, how do you, yeah, like that, that self awareness, right, of what you're doing when you're designing your game as the as the game designer. Like, how do you be self aware of what you're putting into it, and how do you transmit that to play to to potential other GMs who will be picking up your game and running it? Yeah, I get it. I get it now. But yeah, so these are the weapons. Um, let's see. You've got other things too that are not quite guns. So you have a laser cutter, which does percentile damage or one mega damage. They have mega damage, so it's a bit like palladium. So one mega damage point equals 100 normal damage. So there is a bit of that. It's for the most part okay though. I wonder if the designer was inspired by palladium and rifts and all that. It'd be an interesting thing to note. Um, yeah, makes me wonder uh, if we can reuse old Palladium books like Rifts and Robotech and just replace the core mechanic with this. And the skills mechanics, oh my god, OCCs, RCCs, um oh god, it's memories. Anyway, but yeah. I wonder if we could port, you know, Palladium setting books over to this system. It looks a lot simpler to run. And here you have a little preview of the armor, which gives you bonuses to armor saves and also other applications. Like for the vac suit, how long you can stay in a vacuum. Um, other equipment like comms and lamps and stuff, and how it affects your speed. So, speed, for example, speed checks made in a vac suit are always at disadvantage. There you go. Other miscellaneous equipment. Is there a HUD? Yeah. Then that pairs up with the smart rifle we saw earlier. And yeah, same percentile skills. Right. So often worn by Marines, the HUD allows the wearer to see through the body cams of others in their unit and tap into their gun's smart link capabilities. There you go. So yeah, here are the patches, different patches you can get. Like a NASA logo, upstanding citizen. If I'm running, keep up back patch. So appropriate. Uh, do I look like an expert? What else? What other notable ones are there? Um, smooth operator for science. Yeah, awesome, awesome stuff. You can even hire mercenaries if you wanted to. So yeah, it's really it's quite robust. It just lacks the GM section. So yeah, you can give mercenaries motivations and stuff to flush them out a bit. I want to read more through this. Maybe and yeah, like a full chapter for putting together your starship and being able to travel through through the stars, between the stars, not through the stars. That is deadly. Yes. It is yeah, full on, working class Joe patches. Mud flap girl, there you go. And so on. Be sure double tap. That is definitely for the Marine in the group, in the crew. red shirt logo for the the worker. Yeah. So I am starting to lose my voice actually. So let's go through really quickly the last handful of topics. So yeah, if you guys have the link, if you want to check out Mothership, yeah, you can do so on tuesdaynightgames.itch.io, and you'll see the link to Mothership right there on their oops um let's see, on their, yeah, their homepage. There you go. Let's go on to the next topic, which is Z Bashu's uh, proto god, proto gods of the Koatoa. So I am not going to link the to play the video here. You guys can check it out yourselves at, on his wonderful YouTube channel, which is the home of the D&D animated spellbook series. So if you haven't seen that yet, it's an awesome little, I don't know, like a handy little guide to how the spells in D&D. But he's been doing other stuff too, like this one, essentially um, representing how the Kuatoa make their own like proto gods. So links are coming up in the chats. So check these out. So yeah, he's put together a free like little module on Google Drive that you can all view yourselves. Uh, Let me see if I can zoom in far enough. So the gist of it is, Kuatoa tend to create gods, their deities, out of the sheer power of belief. So really, anything they believe in, strong enough, can turn into a deity. That is the gist of this. That is the gist of this module, and it's essentially a plot hook, right? And a little, also a little homebrew on how to make these Kuotoan figments of imagination, of their imagination or belief, into gods that the player characters at your D&D table can potentially fight. So the setup is that the Kotoans are laying eggs, right? They're planning a massive egg sacrifice, clogging up the sewers with a big snatch of eggs, which they plan to destroy all at once on the night of something auspicious, like the new moon, the full moon, whatever. If they accomplish this goal unhindered, there's a good chance of the new god creature being spawned um, at the maximum like god rating of 40 or something. At which point the new bizarre god will take the remaining Kotoa and drift back into the sea. Now the irony is that if the players don't interfere at all, it just results in relatively few city dweller deaths and just a big, crazy, more or less harmless spectacle. But but if the hostile god is drawn towards the city, or rather, if the god is hostile towards the city, thanks to the actions of the players, it ends up being a bit of a mess. And Z Bashu himself recommends doing it like a 4E style skill challenge, which I don't remember enough of how to do. So that's up to you guys' research, I guess. If the players do try and interfere, um, the ideal is for like Z Bashu recommends that you make like a few different proto gods to be created and killed at low god ratings before the players have to deal with the scary build one. So to kind of build up to it, um, they should also be a little confused by the gods initially, thinking that there's some kind of summon spell or a little dumb creature that won't do much harm. Because this is how it works. So the death mechanic, it has to do with how the Kotos die and what causes their deaths. So, um, Whenever a Kuotowa dies, have the player who killed them roll a percentile die. So on you know on the lower half of the roll, um, it creates God larva. So a 1 to 5 creates a God larva. It has a God rating of 1, and it resembles what the Kuotowa might think is interesting or cool about the player that killed them, or the last neat thing that they saw. And it could really be anything. It could be as simple as the actual player, right? So like an elf, if the player's an elf, or part of their costume. So you can go as deep as you want here. Like if your players, my players in the DMD campaign I'm running have a penchant for taking trophies of their kills and turning them into essentially into cod pieces. So I'll probably go with that if I decide to do this. Um, so like the grotesque collection of cod pieces that they've been accumulating over the past couple of sessions would be a prime candidate for inspiration for the Kotoa. Um, Also, when a Kotoa egg is destroyed, there's also a chance of a god larva being created. So also, a representation of the limb, foot, boot, or spell, or whatever weapon that crushed the eggs, right? So when a Kuotoa witnesses a proto god die, have the player who killed it roll a die, which results in another cascading, another god larva being created, and essentially this cascades and cascades until you get higher higher challenge rating or god rating proto gods, right? It's compounded when several Kuotowa die at once. So um, if that's the case, it's equal. The god rating is equal to the number of Kuotowas that died, and it just builds up and it builds up. So um, yeah. So when at some point you've got either like a bunch of little proto gods or uh, that could meet up and essentially vault in and combine their GR to make bigger proto gods, and eventually you end up with with a big Cthulhu like thing, or a big mashup of the different player characters that you have in your party who've been killing Kuotowa or crushing eggs, or their cod pieces, or whatever other interesting aspects of the players there are, like their weapons, maybe like a signature weapon or a signature piece of armor, um things like that. It's really it's really a great way of making a custom big bad guy for your players, for the adventuring party. So yeah. So just a few details of what the proto gods, of how they play. So the god rating goes from low at around less than 1 to pretty high. So low GR creatures are kind of quaint, dumb things that just amuse the players or are minor nuisances. So like a dumb little cartoon boot hopping around, kicking them for 1 damage, for example. Their HP starts out at 10 plus GR on creation, and they gain 10 plus GR at the start of every turn until they have reached their max HP, which you'll see in a bit. Um, Attributes, uh yeah, they have, yeah, it's all here on the table. We'll check that out in a bit too. But yeah, so for example, a one half GR Kotoa has 30 max HP, um like a attribute score of 7, right? um One attribute. Okay. So, and you can shift these around to increase other attributes. Okay, and yeah. So armor class, the attack and damage. What is A? I guess attribute +2. Yeah, the attribute +2, and 1d4 damage. Specials are like spell abilities and stuff. Uh, yeah, there you go. And tiny size at 1/4 GR. Things get a bit more interesting when you start hitting. Um, even challenge rating 1 lets you give uh, a 1d8 natural weapon or a weapon from the player's handbook, a second level spell too. It's a bit more formidable. They reach medium size when they are GR3, when they have 100 max HP, have more attribute points to spread around, and like this could easily reach, I think, a reach a stat of, I think, 20, yeah, 22, with the rest, like one peak stat at 22 with the rest at 10, right? So yeah, this gets pretty it has two resistances also at GR3. It's getting a bit more, yeah, a bit more formidable. And for comparison, you have, yeah, GR12 is 240. You get the idea. And this is a gargantuan sized proto god. So yeah, it's a bit of an interesting, yeah, interesting, what, adventure hook or something that goes on behind the scenes in your adventures, um, leading to a custom villain that represents aspects of your player characters, the characters your players are playing. Eric says he's super concerned about the psychology of my cod piece party, dude. I don't know, like, yeah, they make cod pieces out of everything they kill. They tend to, whenever I have them describe how they kill stuff, it's always like, um, it's always headshots, even like coup de grace, or like, they're just, yeah, always stabbing to the head, arrows to the head. Um, it's funny though. Like, I'm not doing a good enough job of conveying how funny it is that they describe everything. It's a blast to run for these guys. It's just, it's, yeah. I'm pretty sure they're like, releasing unhealthy thoughts through the game or something like that. It's a healthy exercise for them to deal with those inner demons. But yeah, um, yeah. Check out this the Google Doc with the rules. Also check out the animated spellbook. So I'll play it without audio just so you can see the like really cool animations that you can expect from Z Bashu's channel. Big fan of his stuff. Yeah, check out the animated DM and the animated spellbook if you haven't done so yet. Love his material. Okay. I am gonna skip over professional dungeon masters, I think, for now, just because I can feel my voice going and I need my voice for work tomorrow. Let's just go over to the local gaming events, shall we? So let's check out Adventures Anonymous. So they have a few new offerings from for their downtime activities, like collection of like D&D, or no, RPG extracurriculars. So this one is character drawing with all the art. Okay. August 31, 2019. Oh, I think we've mentioned this before actually, but they just have I guess a new slide for it. So yeah, August 31, 2019 at Build Table Co-working, which is 1,000 pesos inclusive of materials and snacks. You get to show off your character's unique design, and you'll only need papers, pencils, erasers, and your imagination. So there you go. You can sign up for the workshops through this link here and check out availability on this link here. Label what those are. Ooh, did the chat window hang? Okay. All right, so let's anonymous downtime activities sign up and uh seat availability. There you go. Build table is upstairs from Venture Space. Oh, okay. So Venture Space is the one in along Shaw, near the corner, very close to the corner of EDSA. So yeah, um, that is where gamers and GMs. Those FB links look hella wonky. Oh my god, I did not shorten them. I am so sorry. I am slipping. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, let me. You can actually just here's a neater link. That is to the main event page, and you can check those out. Sorry about that, but yeah. Um, let's see what other updates do they have. There's a miniature painting workshop. Yeah, July 27, 2019, in the War Room that is near right across from Green Hills. I think it's above the BPI branch there or something. You also have yeah, crocheting dice bags, um, DIY dice. So I think that's full. Let's check out the workshops and the availability real quick. Okay, not that. All right, so miniature painting is full up with well, pretty much practically full up with 2 slots reserved. Um, you have 3 more slots for crochet dice bags. Character drawing has quite 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 slots still open. Of course, we already knew that dice making by Natural 20 is full up. I guess hopefully just the next time for those of us that weren't able to join yet. Oh no, miniature painting has 4 more free slots. My bad. Sorry about that. Improv for role playing by Kramer's Collective has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slots still open. So check those out. Be sure to check those out. Last but not least, we have early bird registration for Gamers and GMs Session 0. So, um, this is now the event is now open for early bird reg. Sign up for the first ever convention featuring local game designers and their products, already for you to purchase and enjoy. So you can experience the games firsthand through the game tables there, and you can support the designers by browsing through their booths and listening to their journey and creative process through the round robin designer talks. Um, yeah. So there are gonna be various art and merchandise tables too. We Dicecast, we will be there with a probably streaming a couple of the talks, hopefully, but also streaming the event itself. So yeah, we will be streaming from our booth. Come by and say hi. We'd love to hear on the day, like what you think of the event, how much you're enjoying the event, and like your thoughts on the games being presented, the game designers, and what this means to you as a local gamer. And yeah, it'd be nice to see you and say hi. So do come by our booth at the at session 0. So yeah, for early reg, um, the first 50 participants to complete their payment by August 23, which is almost exactly a month from now, will get a free G&G lanyard. So, secure your spot. Go to this this tiny URL. Thank you for making a tiny URL. Um, let's label this appropriately. Session 0 early bird reg. All right. And yeah, register for be one of the early registrants for session 0 and get your free Gamers and GMs lanyard. So, if you want to if you want the um you want to check out the event page itself, here you go. Session 0. There's the event link, rather the event page on Facebook. Check it out. Click going, and we'll hope to see you there on August 25th at Green Sun in Makati. So my voice is going fast. Like I think I don't know if you guys have noticed, but it's dropped probably a couple of decibels lower than when we started this. And this is something that I'm gonna need um, for work tomorrow, so I can't jeopardize that. I hope you'll understand. Sorry we didn't get to go through. Honestly, I wanted to go through this like with you guys and hear your thoughts on this. There's this article from Bloomberg Business Week about the rise of the professional dungeon master. Would have been nice to have a discussion on this, but we will save this for next time, perhaps. Um, yeah, and we'll call it a night. So, gosh, I really want to say thank you to everyone who tuned in. Um, I saw a few of you guys on Facebook. Um, some new listeners, new viewers, and quite a few of our regulars too. Thank you everyone for tuning in tonight for Table Talk. Um, yeah, I'll probably see you guys again on Wednesday if the JP's not around. JP did release like a an announcement on our Discord. Let me just share the updates. So yeah, the motherboard died on the streaming PC. He'll be replacing it as soon as possible, but until then, in the meantime, I'll be hosting the PM streams. So no, I guess no lunch break streams. Reliably, they might still be on the table depending on what he can put together, real quick. But yes, yeah. Hopefully this gets fixed in time for covering events and stuff. But like I think like if there's any person I personally know and trust to fix a PC and to put a PC together, I learned everything I know about putting PCs together from JP essentially. So yeah, if there's anyone I trust to resurrect the PC, it's JP. So I don't think there's anything really to worry about on that end. But yeah, for now, you can count on me doing the evening streams for both Table Talk and Vigil Wednesdays. But yeah, Eric says timeless topic for the professional dungeon mastering. Oh yeah, it's true. We'll do it next time. Yeah, even though it's like it'll be a couple of weeks late. I guess yeah, it'll be relevant no matter when we discuss it. So yeah, tabling this for next time. Um, this one topic for next time: the rise of the professional DM. And I'm gonna save my voice. Um, I'm gonna see you guys Wednesday, hopefully, and then again on the uh, the Monday after for a new week of Dicecast streams, starting with Table Talk. So I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Thank you to Eric, Artificity, Dawn. Um, Thank you to Sin also for tuning in. I saw on Facebook, yeah, like my brother. Once again, happy birthday, Kutch. Thank you for introducing me to tabletop games as a kid. It's yeah, it's been awesome. Hope you enjoyed your birthday, and yeah, and also yeah, Chico. I saw you, Chico, tune in on stream. Hope everything's going well um with Tabletop PH. Like you guys are making awesome weekly content. Re- Honestly, like hopefully, um, more power to you guys. And your co-streams with the Greasy Snitches. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. So yeah, good night and see you all around. Um, thank you, Dice friends, and keep them rolling. I'll play you out with our intro slash outro. I really should finish the new music piece for this, but new job and all that. Um, a lot is on the back burner. So see you guys around. Good night.